In the interest of being a productive human being, I've decided to make this video at possibly the worst time of day I could. But you know, I really thought about this. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I even put on rainbow-colored pajama pants to film this video. I put on pants, so that means we're doing this. If you haven't noticed already, I had a mental breakdown. I got bored, and I've been wanting to dye my hair for a while, so I ordered a bleach kit and purple hair dye, and I was going to film that as my 2020 video, right? The one video I put out every year at this point. And I didn't want to get bleach on my computer or my potato camera. So yeah, but I do have lovely pictures. I will insert them now. If you notice, there are new posters. They were actually my birthday present. So we got RWBY, which we've had for a while, but she's behind me now. We've still got Joker, Dale, Violet Evergarden, my girl. Oh, that made me cry. And Carolyn Tuesday. If you haven't seen that show, it's on Netflix, guys. You have to see it. It's a beautiful show. It's so beautiful. Also Violet Evergarden, if you haven't seen that, and RWBY. Honestly, if you haven't seen the media pertaining to any of the posters behind me, are you even living your best quarantine life? So earlier this year, before things went to utter shit, a friend of ours who recently moved across the country told us that he wanted to play a D&D campaign with us, but in the Star Wars setting. And I, being a person, have obviously heard of the franchise. I've actually seen the Disney movies, but I'd never seen the original trilogy or the prequels all the way through. Now, I had seen bits and pieces, obviously, I know, the Duel of the Fates, iconic. I know that scene, that music. Darth Vader, I knew was a thing. Luke, Obi-Wan, Yoda. But that was about it. I knew the names of things. I knew sort of the plot. But I didn't know what Star Wars was. My whole life, have never really liked sci-fi because it had the word science in it. And I was of the belief that because I was not good at science, that I would just feel very ostracized if I watched a sci-fi movie, especially since, no offense, the sci-fi community is a little bit ostracizing to some people because it is filled with a lot of nerdy people, which is fine. That's great that there's so many intelligent people in the community. But my past interactions with people from that community, when I was younger, we're talking about, were not very positive. I mean, it felt very much like anytime there was a conversation, it was very demeaning and oh, you don't know what this is and this is, you're stupid. And being someone who strove to only get A's and anything less was a failure, being called stupid was the worst. So I had a natural aversion to anything science fiction. Jay, however, has always loved Star Wars, and he's been trying to get me to watch it for a while, and has always kind of talked about it in this really romantic fashion. Now I see where it comes from. It's this beautiful nostalgia. Okay. So let's take it back a second. So we had a friend. He said, I want to do a D&D campaign in the Star Wars setting. Now, I, a few years ago, played in a sci-fi setting D&D game, and I hated it because, like I said, ostracizing community. I didn't understand things, and I was made to feel very stupid because I didn't understand those things. So Jay convinced me. He said, no, this is going to be great. He's like, you just need to watch all of the Star Wars series to have a full appreciation of it. So he took the time to take all of the Star Wars content that exists in visual form, video form. Sorry, because there's I don't know if there's comics or not. I'm so sorry. I think there is. But the video, the TV shows, the movies, the official canon of Star Wars. It was at this point that I realized editing. There were only 7 minutes of video, and I distinctly remember sitting down for 40 minutes. So, in the interest of still being able to post this video, and I'm gonna try to summarize what I learned, and hopefully I don't forget anything. The gist is that my friend found this Star Wars website where someone who evidently has a love and passion for Dungeons and Dragons 5e also has a love and passion for Star Wars, to the point that they've converted a lot of mechanics from Dungeons and Dragons to be compatible in a Star Wars universe and to make sense of all of it. Now, not everything from Dungeons and Dragons is included on this website, but they make a real effort to convert spells into force powers or into tech powers so that spells you may recognize from D&D make sense in the Star Wars universe and can be used. So if you're a huge Dungeons and... oh, I can't talk. If you're a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan and a huge Star Wars fan and you want to combine your love of the two, you can go to this website, which I will also link in the description, and you can build your own character out of the just immeasurable... out of the insane amount of races they have converted into D&D 5e format. And you can choose classes that are compatible with Star Wars themed things, like Consular is what I'm playing. It's like a mix between like wizard and divination wizard and sorcerer, and it's insane. And not everything is perfectly balanced, but that's going to be up to you and your group to decide what you want to keep and what you don't. The important thing is that this dude literally like took the time and did the research to accurately portray Star Wars lore through Dungeons and Dragons 5e mechanics, which is just insane to me. They frequently update the website. Like, they just recently, in the past few weeks, updated it, and one of my consular abilities got replaced with something else. So they do still, oh man, fuck. They are still doing like maintenance and stuff, and they are cleaning up and taking feedback from, you know, people's thoughts playing and the classes and stuff, and they're trying to fix things and balance things better. And then, of course, our DM, our lovely, lovely DM, has, you know, homebrewed the world in his own right and put his own twist on things, and it's just been so much fun. It is more fun than I've had in a really, really long time. And the best part is, this is the best part, I get to play a character that I have wanted to play for a very long time. When we started the game, I still wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to play, so I kind of just came up with a character or whatever. Well, it wasn't a character I was really passionate about or that invested in. So it was only after like the second session that I spoke to our DM and I was like, hey, I think I want to change characters. And he's like, that's okay. I've built this world, I've built this campaign in a way that if you guys want to change characters every session, you can. And he encouraged us to do so. So I have a binder of all of my Dungeons and Dragons characters that I have created ever since I started playing, which was 5 years ago now. I've played pretty much all of them. Every single character sheet I made because I knew there was a campaign that was coming up that I could play them in. Except one character. Her name was Haven. She was meant to be a seer sorcerer, essentially. The subclass of sorcerer I had found was homebrewed, but in my opinion, it was actually quite balanced. You got basically these fortune-telling rolls, basically luck. In return, you also had these like curse-like things. I will see if I can find it, and if I can, I'll put a picture and leave a link to the creator. That is what I wanted to play. And that idea was inspired specifically by a character portrait I saw on Pinterest, which I will also put up here. This picture inspired the character Haven. You guys know how I feel about sorcerers. I love sorcerers. And since I couldn't be a wild magic sorcerer, I wanted to be a seer. And for one reason or another, it always fell through. I was never really allowed to play her. Until a few weeks ago, I found the character sheet. I was reading through her backstory, and I messaged him and I said, this is it. I want to play Haven, but I have no idea how this is going to work in the Star Wars universe. People can't see like things, can they? And then Jay, as a huge Star Wars fan, was like, that's exactly how the Force works. You get this like sense, this feeling. It's been amazing. And part of it is the DM we have. Part of it is because there's only 3 players and all 3 of us are really, like, not to like sound full of myself, but all of us are really good actors. And we're really good role players. And we genuinely take it seriously. And all of us are writers in one form or another. So we all want to create this like beautiful story. So we play off each other as well as we can. And Jay is playing this like amazing character who's like really old. And Haven's backstory. Oh my God. So I gotta tell you guys this. I'm sorry. Maybe I am gonna be as rambly as I was in my first take. Haven was a prisoner to Sith. And this is really cool because I've never done this. She has amnesia. So for the past 5 years of her life, she has been a prisoner to Sith. And she remembers nothing before her imprisonment. Nothing. She has no idea who she was. She has no idea where she's from. And she has no idea if she had any friends or family. And if she did, what their names are or what they look like or anything. All she knew was her name. She knew, she knew she'd been a prisoner for 5 years. She does have memories from the last 5 years of being a prisoner. And she knew, because she had a vision about it, that she had to escape. She knew when exactly to escape and when it would be successful and who to find. So she escapes. She meets Jay's previous character. And they escape the Sith together, basically, because the Sith were also pursuing Jay's character. Land on a planet, and Jay's new character is introduced, who he's playing now. So that is the gist of Haven's abilities. She follows her gut instinct. She has visions. The Sith captured her to force her to use her visions for their bad stuff. So they would ask her a question, make her have visions about that question, make her ask the Force about that question to see what path they needed to take to succeed. In this last session, because I need to talk about this wasn't talked about in my previous video because it hadn't happened yet. The Darth Lord that had held Haven captive for 5 years caught up to our group. And we had this insane battle. It is by far one of the best moments I've ever had in a tabletop campaign. It was a battle, not just like physically, not just for our lives and for, the outcome, like, is Haven gonna get captured and all of her newfound friends gonna get killed? But it was a battle for like who she was gonna become. Because something I haven't told you guys yet is that if you're familiar with the Bendu in Star Wars, then you're gonna understand what I'm about to say, because In the consular class on the website that I will link down below, there is an ability, and you can choose. It's an ability you get at, I don't remember what level, but it's the Bendu. And it kind of is like your path. It's not your subclass, but depending on if you're more light, more neutral, more dark, it'll give you different things. And so I chose neutral because she's kind of in the middle, and the Bendu is the one in the middle. Well, she has not only force heal, but because of her captor and because of her conflicting emotions about who she is, and with no knowledge of how to like actually deal with the trauma she faced and the memories that like may never return to her, she has force lightning. So this battle between her friends and her previous captors was not just this battle to like keep her from getting captured again. It was, is she dark? Is she light? Or is she truly in the middle? And not only that, but every other character, Jay's character and then our friend Jacob, they all had reasons to be invested in this battle other than just, oh, Haven is in danger. Like Jay's character, was having like flashbacks of like when he wasn't able to save someone that he really cared about, and Jacob's character had like never killed anyone before, but he'd also never really like taken a stand against something before, and so he was like, I'm gonna take a stand, and we gave him multiple options to leave, and he's like, no, I'm gonna stay, I'm gonna like I want to believe in this. So we're on this planet. We know we've been followed. We know there is no escaping because Haven used her force powers to try and see the future. And in every future she saw, there was ruin. And they would always be followed. They would always be caught. And if they didn't end this now, it may never end. So they came up with a plan. Lure them down to the planet. Lure our enemies onto the planet and force them to fight us. It was a long battle. This battle lasted 2 sessions. The first wave of the battle was all of her minions, all of her soldiers, her dogs, coming to capture my character and us fending them off. The second part of the battle was when she landed in a transport and came out. I won't go through every detail of the battle, but a moment that definitely sticks out is when Darth Keller took out a lightsaber, and Haven recognized it as her own. Haven had a lightsaber, and Darth Keller was holding it. So, on my next turn, I reached out, and I disarmed her with the Force. And Darth Keller tried 3 different times to take it back from me before screaming in a fit of rage and knocking me unconscious. And it was okay, because at that moment, my character, holding concentration on like this force storm that was around her and taking her lightsaber back, seeing this woman, like she knew in that moment, like she was more powerful. In this whole fight, my character didn't use force lightning. When I say like it was a battle between like if she's light, dark, or neutral, like she never used force lightning, and most of the powers she used were universal. And like in that moment that she didn't have to use any dark side powers, she didn't have to use her anger, she didn't have to use her fear, she didn't have to use her sadness to defeat Darth Keller, she knew she had won. even though I got knocked out like literally a few seconds later, like my character knew that even if she woke up back in a prison cell, she had won. And creating a moment like that in a game is just so incredibly rare. And it was so beautiful. And I honestly wish we had been like recording it, because it was, I can't even describe to you guys how amazing it was. And of course you don't have all the context because you don't know everything that was like leading up to it and building up to it. And if I took the time to describe all the sessions we had before this that like built up to this like crazy impactful moment, it would take so many episodes and so many like hours of my time trying to piece it all together. It was just beautiful. After the session, of course, we spent like hours praising the DM. Like, that was an amazing fight. That was so well thought out, everything. Like, he did such an amazing job. And she had such unique, really cool abilities. And after that session, I wrote this little excerpt because I was so inspired and like it was so beautiful. And it's one of the reasons I, wanted to finish making this video, even though I don't have all my footage. A Nautolan droid and a hybrid Miraluka fly slowly away from a demolished battlefield in the swamps of Aniska. They ascend into the atmosphere with the now rising sun. They have just overcome the unimaginable, defeating a Sith Lord, Darth Keller. A cruel and twisted woman, motivated by anger, pain, and loss, to become powerful and dominate everyone and everything around her. The Nautolan lies in his bunk with 1,000-yard stare glazing his eyes. He knows he can never be the same after today. He did things he'll never forget, but things he'll come to regret? Only time will tell, if his guilt will consume him. The droid steers the ship, relief washing over him as he looks over at the young hybrid Miraluka, knitting a sweater out of spider silk. He wasn't going to leave them behind, no matter what. And somehow, they prevailed. The hybrid, lost in thought, holds back waves of emotion crashing inside her. It's over. She's free. She looks over at the lightsaber, her lightsaber. She reads the lines, "For those beside you," inscribed on the hilt, and smiles, a warm emotion flooding her that she's just now remembering. Happiness. Love, belonging. Her eyes flick over to the droid. "For those beside me," she repeats in her head. So yeah, that's basically the video. I know it's kind of rambly, might be a little weird in some spots. Sorry about the editing. Sorry if it's a little cut up and not completely smooth. Again, I was editing and then realized that, like most of the video I filmed a few weeks ago was just gone. So I hope this makes sense. I hope that you guys enjoy it. I just wanted to share something that I'm passionate about and that's made me happy during all of this. And I hope you guys can, find some joy in it as well. And maybe I taught you something you didn't know today. Also, if you've never seen all of the canon Star Wars content, I highly recommend you do. I will put the list of all the Star Wars content Jay and I have watched in the description, and along with all the other like links and stuff to those like pages, so that you guys can go check all that stuff out for yourself, because it's really amazing the amount of work that this guy put into this website. It's just beautiful. I don't know what my next video is going to be. It might be poetry. It might be more Star Wars. We'll see. Oh yeah, holy shit. How did I go a whole video without saying that? I'm Pensive Fox, and these have been my thoughts.